Hey fellas, how you doing? It's Johnny. I was really excited about making this video today for you guys. So in this video I'm going to talk about, it's a big topic, sorry, it's so difficult to give it one title because it's got so many different meanings to it. So I suppose, I knew I was going to struggle with this. Hold on a second. Basically, yeah, this video is about how to have the courage, well, first of all, how to have the awareness to recognize that you're not living an honest life. You're not living a life of integrity, love and happiness. And I know that can sound a little bit cheesy when you say love, happiness, integrity, but I promise you, the amount of courage it has taken me myself to get to this place, there's nothing superficial or unmanly or untrue about it. It's been the most difficult, painful, it's been the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. And this is why I took it upon myself to change my business model 2 years ago and to start mentoring and teaching other people the same process. So lots of guys come to me that work with me on my 6 weeks program. The biggest sticking point obviously is fear, but within the fear, the most common thing that men say to me is, it's really difficult because I don't trust my friends. I don't trust my friends because my friends are cheating, lying and stealing, and I don't want to do that anymore. But at the same time, I don't want my friends to criticize me. And it's almost like, and I know how they feel because I've been through this myself, they don't want to betray their friends. They don't want to appear to be indifferent. In my case, I felt like people were going to think, because I grew up in a council estate, I'd become snobby. I thought I was trying to be someone that I wasn't. So they're kind of stuck in this catch-22. And I went through it myself. And I'm just going to kind of bring it to your attention, your awareness, because when I was going through this myself, part of me, I think we always know it unconsciously. We know if we're being dishonest. We know if we're not living the right life. We know if our relationships are not genuine, because oh, it's got a bit dark here, sorry. Because we sense this, but sometimes we live in denial. So I just want to make you aware of the epiphany I had 2 years ago after I had a breakdown. You know, I really confronted things that I was hiding from a long time. I was a very dishonest man. I had rationalized all my dishonesty by my success, by other people saying to me, what you're doing is great, when it wasn't great. I was lying to myself, therefore I was lying to everyone else. It was affecting all my relationships. It was crushing me. It was making me feel depressed. It was making me feel suicidal. I felt like a hypocrite. I felt like a fake. I felt dirty. I felt disgusting. I just felt awful. And I just thought, how am I going to get out of this? And I tried so many times and I always fell back in. It took me many attempts. And I was having this conversation with a friend of mine that I've been working with on my 6 weeks program. I'm not going to say his name. I've had it with many guys I've worked with. And he was in the exact same sticking point that I was 2 years ago. And I told him my story. And when I told him, he said to me, I can't believe how honest you are, Johnny. I've never been able to have this honesty with anyone. And I don't mean that to say I'm a great person, I'm a great teacher, but he said to me, I've never had this openness with anyone, not even with my family. And I said, to be honest, let's be grateful, because this openness that I'm having with you and you're having with me, it took me a lot of courage to get to this place. I had to find out who I was. I had to literally find out who I really was, and I had to go through so much dishonesty, and I had to make so many changes in my life. So really, it's come to me now, this video is about how to have the courage to get away from toxic friends or toxic people that are making you be dishonest. Obviously they're not putting a gun to your head. So for me, it really dawned upon me, it was actually longer than 2 years ago. When I first became successful, which was about 4 years ago, with teaching men how to meet women at that time, when my integrity was not at its best, but it was much better than it was prior to that, prior to the days of me doing things that I'm not ashamed to speak about anymore, but at the time I was. Stuff like bullying people, taking drugs, drinking, you know, like talking about, you know, about people behind their back. You know, years before that, paying for sex, sleeping with prostitutes, tricking women into bed, sleeping with women, cheating on women. I was just completely cheating. And I say this to all my students that come to me, because they're really brave. You're not dishonest because you're a bad person. You're being dishonest because you're afraid. There's a difference. So I don't believe that anyone is fully a bad person. It's the choices we make, and it's the ethics that we live by. So I really had to first become aware of this, and I remember it was really difficult for me because one of my really close friends who I really loved and got on with, I'd realised one day that he was dishonest. I watched him cheat, I watched him steal, I watched him lie to people, and I watched him do it to me. But before I could judge him or say anything, I had to recognise that I was doing the same. I was doing the same by maintaining my relationship with him, because I got to a stage where I thought, well, hang on a minute, I can change. Let me become this honest, righteous man who serves God, lives by God, and you know, and does nice things in life, and becomes the person that I always wanted to be when I was a young boy growing up, all through my violence and all the rest of it, and my anxieties and troubles of my dad, trauma. And I remember thinking, I'll change, I won't judge my friends, and I'll just, you know, I'll still maintain relationships with them. And for a while it seemed to be like that could work, but then I realised that could never work. That could never work. Fundamentally, spiritually, if you're hanging around with dishonest people and you're honest, you're not honest then. It's very different, and I don't want to sound judgmental or critical. It's very different if you're helping people, which I do. Because people who choose to ask for your help, they are admitting that they're dishonest and they want to change, and you can always help a man who wants to change. So I'm not doing this video and condemning people. I'm the last person who can condemn anyone with my track record, but I have changed. I have put my life right, and I have been living with integrity and honesty for over 2 years now, and that took me a lot of courage, and I've been teaching this for 2 years, and I've been successful in doing both, in fixing myself and helping to change people's lives all around the world. So it really comes down to, people have got choices in life, and I had to really study, what is friendship? What does it mean to be genuine? Friendship is about loyalty, but it's not about loyalty at the cost of you breaking your integrity to keep a friendship going. Because you can't save, you know, I think there's a saying, you can't immediately save a drowning man. You have to let someone sink underneath the water, then you can jump in and save them. Otherwise they'll pull you under, and they'll drown you. And that's what this particular friend was doing to me, and other friends. He was drowning me. I couldn't speak about my business ideas. I couldn't speak about honest living. I couldn't speak about the fact that I didn't like cheating. I didn't like that quality in people, because I was a cheat myself once. But obviously to say that, I would have to remind him that he's a cheat. But he didn't want to see his own skullduggery. He was denying it. He was violent. He was accusing everyone else of cheating and lying. He was clearly doing the same. So it got to a stage where I just thought, there's no other option. I have to move away, and I have to stop this friendship. And it was so difficult. It was so hard for me. I was almost in tears because I really loved him. I loved my friends. But I couldn't live like this no more, because it was making me resent myself. And of course, if you resent yourself, you're going to resent your friends. And I started to notice that, well, I didn't notice, my friend outrightly got jealous. He started to attack me. He started to attack me because I started to teach people to be honest. He started to say to me that I've changed, and accused me of things that wasn't true, accused me of only caring about money, started making accusations that weren't true. And this was someone that I actually lended money and never asked for the money back, because I did it from a place of unconditional love. I didn't want the money back. But when someone accuses you of something that is not true, you really have to start questioning your integrity. But I went one better, because I knew it would be too easy to start blaming him, to start accusing him of what he did. I thought, let me look at those things in myself. And when I actually did start to look at those things in myself, thanks to the help of a great mentor and courage on my half, I realised that these things were corresponding in me. So there were still parts of me that were dishonest, that I didn't adjust. So once I fully got myself honest, I didn't have to say to him, I can't hang out with you no more. It naturally fell apart. He couldn't be around me no more. And I don't mean to say that in a way that's I'm better than you and all this, because I don't believe anyone's better than anyone. I've been on the floor, I've been on job seekers allowance, I've been close to being homeless, but at the same time, no one owes anyone a living. Even my nan said that to me. You don't owe anyone a living. So friendship's not about, you know, you killing yourself to maintain a friendship. Then I traced back lots of my fears. It really helped me to see the stories of other teachers and people I looked up to, and I realised that unconsciously I had a fear of abandonment. I had low self-esteem underneath the surface because of what my dad did to me when I grew up, and it really distorted my psychology. So part of me felt I'm not good enough to hang around with people that are honest. And my whole dream as a kid, I wanted to do amazing things. I wanted to be around people that I trusted. I didn't want to have to think, if I introduce my girlfriend to my friends and I go out, is one of my girlfriends, sorry, and my friend's going to betray me. And in the circumstances I was in 2 years ago, that was the case. The people I was around, they were just cheating on one another, and they were blatantly doing it, and they was all wearing a mask playing games, and I just thought, I cannot be a part of this no more. This is not how I want to live my life. Now, I done what most people do, and this is what lots of people that I mentor on my 6 weeks program tend to do. They ask their friends for approval to change. Most times you're never going to get it, because they don't want you to change, because your change represents making them change. Now, unless it takes a really loyal friend and a great character, it's in my experience, and I hope I'm proven wrong, it's very rare that when one person in a social circle, especially a social circle that is dishonest and there's a lack of integrity, when one person changes for the better, most of the rest of the social circle are gonna turn on the person, or not gonna see things the way you are, because they're afraid. People are in fear. But I got to a stage in my life where I thought, I don't care about the fear anymore. So I actually practiced having more integrity, and guess what happened? My biggest fear came true, but then I realized it wasn't my biggest fear, it's my biggest relief. I lost all my friends, but they were never my true friends to start with, because when I became honest, they couldn't be around me no more. But then I realized, of course, I'm going to start attracting like-minded people, and you know, and it didn't happen straight away, but soon enough I started to attract like-minded people. Even when I changed my business model, I remember thinking, I'm really nervous about doing this, because for a long time I've been teaching men how to go out and be dishonest, and I wasn't even aware I was doing it. I believed it was the right thing to do. But when I changed my business model around, my business started to go better, because I started to attract the right type of people to work with. So it starts to balance out. So the real answer is, it's always about you taking responsibility for yourself. And it's so easy, we all do it, human nature, to say, well, it's my friend's fault. Even if it is his fault and it's true, he's not actually stopping you. I realise I'm a grown man. I'm 6 foot, I'm just being a bit passionate here. Height doesn't make any difference. You know, I'm a grown man. No one can hold me down. No one can hold you down right now, whoever's watching this video, man or woman. I realised for years I had all these conflicting fears that my dad's going to stop me, or my mum, or my family, but it never happened. They were actually happy for me. That people that really love you and care about you, they'll be happy for you. And the best way to find out who your friends are is to find out who you are. Because once you find out who you are, you'll find immediately who your friends are. And if they're really true friends, they'll be happy for your success and growth. And hopefully they'll be able to become successful with you. But if they're not true friends, the immediate signs will be there of jealousy. And that's what this friend was doing to me, was putting me down. He was insulting me. And I just couldn't speak to him no more. And I completely changed. I didn't see the world the way he did. I didn't want to talk about racism. I didn't want to talk about politics. I didn't want to speak about, I didn't want to start just, you know, judging people. I never felt good when I did that. And then I went in further, and I noticed that a lot of, as I said, a lot of these fears came from unconscious abandonment issues. And then they go into stuff like multiple personalities, addictive personalities. So my addiction was dishonesty. I was addicted to letting people walk all over me. And I just started to feel angry, and I thought, how comes I don't feel this way when I'm teaching, I'm around really good people? Why don't I feel this way when I'm around, you know, other people that are honest? And I just thought, it's obvious. You know, these vibrations can't sit together. You can't have an honest frequency with a dishonest frequency for too long. Unless the dishonest frequency is willing to change and make that shift, then it's going to work. But it's impossible. The friendships won't work. It will just be jealousy. It will be backstabbing. And I just thought, I can't live like this no more. When I made these changes, it was crazy. I really mean this, guys, from my heart. I got my true confidence back. I stopped watching pornography. Obviously, I stopped paying for sex years ago, but all these little bad habits, all these sneaky things that I was doing where I was cheating myself, like what other things were? People pleasing, because I was a massive people pleaser. I didn't even realise I was. I stopped people pleasing. I became more assertive, and I became more kind and more open, because before I wasn't being as open as I could. And this is another sticking point, and this makes sense why all the people that come to me have either got severe social anxiety or complex social anxiety. Complex social anxiety is when you're wearing a mask, you're wearing different masks. So of course, usually when people come and work with me, I get to see their best self, because people know about my story. They know that they're not going to be judged because I've made these mistakes. They know they're coming someone they can trust who is honest. So I'm seeing their best self, and I'm saying, fucking hell, these guys, this is a very beautiful man in front of me. All these people are beautiful. This is how I was feeling. I'm going to help this person to change. But when they go back into the social circle, they become angry, they become violent. I've had many conversations with students, and some of the nicest people you would ever meet, and you would never think it. Because I've been in this place that they've been in, I know how it feels. They say, you know what, Johnny, I'm nice now when you're here, but when I'm with my friends drinking, sometimes I'm violent, I bully people, I get into fights. And I'm thinking, this is not who the person is. And I say it to people, this is not who you are. And they say, I know. But it's fear, because the same fear I had is that we're going to be abandoned when we change, but it never happens. It's impossible. Eventually, we always attract the people that are meant to be in our lives. And I had the same thing with girlfriends. I had an ex-girlfriend who was holding me back and wouldn't let me grow. And when I was saying that I want to change the world, I really want to help people with social anxiety, she was putting me down. So it got to a stage where I had to make a decision, and I had to cut the relationships off because it was dishonest. And I had to start working on attracting honest people into my life and making these changes. And it took massive courage, but it was so rewarding. And this is what I've been teaching on the 6 weeks program. And this is what's causing a lot of your social anxiety. You can't relax if you're around people that you don't trust. And ultimately, the distrust is always coming back to yourself. So once you trust yourself, you don't have to worry about, can I trust other people? Can I trust the world? Because that vibrational state, or that alignment or spiritual connection, it will attract the right things. It will actually protect you. It will actually keep away dishonesty. So stuff like violent fights, touch wood, it never happens to me no more. I never get into fights. I don't drink alcohol. So it's all part of me letting go of that false personality. And that's what most people don't realize. When you've got false friendships, it's not just hanging around wasting your time with people that you're not enjoying, it's the attachments that come with that. So I have, again, many guys I work with saying, you know, I don't really enjoy drinking alcohol. So I just say, why don't you stop? Why don't you quit? Oh, well, it's only 1 or 2 on the weekend and all my friends drink. It's because the friends drink. He doesn't want to stop drinking, or she doesn't want to stop drinking, because I help women now, because she feels she'll lose their friends. But that's probably the truth. That's a good thing. They're not real friends in the first place. Now, I don't have a problem with people that drink. Again, I'm going to just make this very clear, but I don't drink. So at the end of the day, it's not about going around and judging people. It's about respecting people. I suppose you would say having democracy, letting people have their own freedom, but it's choosing the way you want to live your life. And I didn't enjoy drinking, so I stopped it. I didn't enjoy violence. I didn't enjoy talking about people behind their back. I'm the type of man, if I've got a problem with someone, I'd rather tell them to the face, sit down and be a man, or be a decent human being, not go behind their back, you know, talk bad about them, and then come into their face and pretend that you're friends with them. That's dishonest. And these are the sort of relationships that I see lots of people having. And this is really what's making you struggle. When I get questions and guys say, how do I get a girlfriend? It's like, you have to change your social circle. You have to change, because you're never going to get a woman that you trust, because all your relationships are based on distrust. You built these relationships because you didn't trust yourself. But you shouldn't be hard on yourself as well, because it happened to me. It wasn't because I was a bad person, it was because I was afraid and I thought, I'm not good enough. I'm just some piece of shit from a council estate who got abused, who was shy, and I was bullied a lot, and I had lots of fights, and I had to work tremendously hard to remove all of these beliefs. And that's why I think it's so important to get a mentor. I'm a teacher myself, and I got a mentor. I highly recommend getting someone that can help you, because it's difficult to do it by yourself, but at the end of the day, you have to do it. Now, this sounds doom and gloom. This is the most exciting thing you'll ever do, because when you start building new friendships, you don't have to put the mask on. You can be yourself, and you can connect with people on a much deeper level. And this is how I got rid of my social anxiety. It was the final hurdle, because I thought I'd overcome it and there was a little bit left. I had to clear up in every area. And of course, this process of honesty and integrity is something that I continue to work on all the time. Now, integrity for one person can be slightly different for another, but I'm pretty sure that most people don't want to have friendships where they lie to people and they're acting wearing a mask, for a start. Most people don't want to be with their addictions, watching pornography, and again, I'm not condemning you, because I've done it loads of times. I've chosen not to do it. And most people I speak to don't want to, you know, drink alcohol and get drunk, because I just, you know, It's a difficult one, but it doesn't make you feel good. And if you're a creative person like myself, and you want to give value to the world, and you want to fulfill your dreams, you can't be doing stuff like this. You have to be disciplined. But the discipline itself becomes fun. So I got to a stage where I thought I'd rather be by myself in a park doing a video blog, which I'm doing now, than be around people that I don't trust, and they don't trust me, and they don't respect me, and they're lying and cheating. So it got to a stage where, I've said it before, you just work on changing it in you, and it has, I can't even explain it to you. Trust me, I can't explain it. It has a profound effect. Everything starts to work out. At first, you may go for a period where it looks a bit dark. I went through it, you're a bit depressed, you start thinking, shall I go back? Think about how much do you love yourself. If you love yourself, you wouldn't treat yourself that way. And I said to a guy, again, I was working with, he said, well, I'm an honest person, so I don't want to leave my friends. I said, well, you're not an honest person. You're not an honest person at this point in time. You're a dishonest person, because you're only staying with your friends because you're worried that they're going to criticize you for being your true self. So that's not really honesty, that's people pleasing. Because if you were really honest, you really cared, you would say, look, this is who I am. I still love you guys, but I can't take part in this. And if they can't accept that, you've got to move on. Then he said, yeah, you're right. He goes, wow. And then and these are the changes. This is why I've been able to transform people's lives all around the world. It takes one to know one. So you're not on your own if you're feeling like this. You're not on your own. And you're not a dirty person, you're not a bad person. You're just in a certain state of mind, state of consciousness, and you have to, like I said in the other videos, work on taking your mask off, and you have to withstand the possible criticism that you'll receive. And the criticism is worth it. I'd rather be criticised for being who I am and saying what I really feel than being liked by everyone for not being who I am. What's the point? You're just lying to yourself. Especially when you get to the age that I'm at, and most of the guys I work with, from age 30 to 40. Sometimes even upwards to 50. You can't be lying and playing games at this age. Life's too short. In your 20s I can understand, because you're still maturing, you're very young. But I sound like an old man now, don't I? But you really can't be living like this. And this is why people struggle with things like money, they struggle with relationships, because the relationship with money, if you're not honest, then you're going to have conflicting beliefs, and you're going to attract dishonest business, dishonest people. So it's really about a spiritual or a psychological cleaning process where you look at your life. And this is the life coaching that I also do on my teaching. You sit down and you write it down. And this is what I get people to do. I get them to write down, you know, what's going wrong in their life. I get them to write an email to me how they want to put it, and we work towards every week in overcoming this. And it's life-changing, and it works. But it is very difficult initially. But of course, if it wasn't difficult, then it wouldn't be worth it, and everyone would do it. And everyone can do it, but most people won't do it. Most people won't do it because they're too afraid, because you have to experience fear. But the fear is good, it's your friend. It is your friend. So have a think about that. Have a think about your social anxiety. Think about the sort of life you want to live. Really think about, are the people around you honest? And you're probably going to find now, it's hard to hear this, I know, but you'll thank me later. If you're not honest right now, all your relationships are not honest. Because we attract what we are. We attract what we are, so be careful what we become. I learnt this the hard way, the Irish way. So even to the point where I absolutely love my family, and I'm not saying my family are dishonest, because they're lovely and I care about them with all my heart, but I'm just stressing that I've had people even say to me, well, some of my family are not honest. Well, you can't get rid of your family, but you don't have to be dishonest to have a relationship with them. With friends, you've got to get rid of them. With family, I wouldn't recommend it, because we love our family, but you don't have to break your integrity for anyone. Not for anyone, for family, for friends. It's all about self-respect, and when you've got self-respect and you're congruent, people will sense it. You will attract the right woman, you'll attract the right circumstances. Most importantly, you'll feel good. Now I really feel confident in myself after all these years of pretending to be confident. So I love you guys, and I hope that helps. I'll see you soon. Enjoy the process.